In this Star Wars Outlaws news update video, I will be sharing with you some brand new details about the game, including potential cameos from some famous characters. Before we do take a look at all of today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on Star Wars Outlaws. So late last night, 2 new interviews were released about the game and they detailed a bunch of new stuff. They did go over some stuff that we previously knew about the game, but there were some really interesting new things that did come out of it. So let's go through all of the new things. The first interview was with butwhytho.net. So this answer did reiterate how Kay and Nyx aren't looking to join the Rebellion or Empire, they're just looking out for themselves and they want to pull off that massive heist. So the end goal for this game is to just set them up for life so they don't have to go back to being an outlaw. There will be hidden Amberine artifacts, and Navid, the narrative director who is doing these interviews and sharing these details with us, did say that there is going to be a golden path for the story, which you can stick to if you wish to do so. You don't have to do all of the side content, but they really do want you to get lost in this open world and just find cool things to do that aren't part of the main story. Much like Jedi Survivor, they really are focused on making exploration rewarding. Also, Nyx apparently does reflect Kay's mood, so if she's tense, he will be guarded. If she's fighting, he will be vicious. Some additional details on Nyx and Kay's relationship and how they translate to gameplay. So there aren't necessarily branching options based on your interactions with Nyx, but rather more him adapting to how you'd like to approach gameplay situations, whether through stealth or combat. Navid also goes on to say that you will grow Kay from a rookie thief to a full-fledged gunslinger, and that growth will be reflected in some exciting ways that we are excited to talk about later on, not just in Blaster but also her skill, so that's very interesting indeed. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. Another thing Navid and Massive are looking forward to sharing in the future is how exactly we will be able to customise the Trailblazer, her ship. We also get a few more details on the brand new syndicate that has been created for this game, the Ashiga clan. So as I mentioned in a previous video, they are the Mileto Hive, so they're a very interesting species that was first seen in The Force Awakens. It was just a background character, but now we have a fully fledged syndicate, and supposedly the strict code of honour they have is based around hierarchy in the Hive, and their entire worldview is about survival of the collective. Everything and everyone is judged on their usefulness to the whole. The Ashiga clan have supposedly worked their way into every aspect of Kojima's underworld, from smuggling to extortion, sabotage, weapons manufacturing. They have the stranglehold on criminal enterprise there. Speaking of syndicates, so there are 4 in the game, and Navid says that you really do have to balance your relationships with each of them. You can't keep everyone happy, so you'll have to weigh up the consequences of your actions and make some strategic decisions about your alliances and loyalty. So, for instance, this is just an example, if you choose to work with the Hutts a lot, what you do for the Hutts may upset the Pikes, so if you want to try and make them happy, then it may affect the Mileto Hive, things like that. So there is a lot going on, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what decisions we make individually, because all of our playthroughs will be different, and how the game changes. Navid does specifically say every player will have a different experience throughout their own journey. So even though we're going to be getting the same main story, which will get the main points of the story told to us in the same way, you will have different experiences in between that, because some people are going to really want to work with the Hutts, others will want to screw Jabba over, so it's going to be really cool to see everyone's different playthroughs. Now for the interview with Game Informer, and this answer that Navid gives is one that answers a question I've had a lot of you ask me in the comments. Will there be cameos from some big characters? So in Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order we see characters like Darth Vader, as well as Boba Fett. But people have been wondering, is there going to be any in Star Wars Outlaws? Well, from the trailer we know that Han Solo is in Carbonite, so because of the time period set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he's not going to pop up. But Jabba was in the trailer, and it was confirmed that we'd be meeting Jabba. We have a screenshot of Kay meeting Jabba himself at his palace. But people have been wondering, will there be any other potential cameos in the game? And Navid says there may be some other cameos we hope people look forward to discovering for themselves. Which makes me think there won't be cameos necessarily in the main story, but rather the actual side stuff in the game. You may come across someone that we know of, someone from a film or from a book that is really interesting and cool, but they aren't necessarily tied to the main story, much like Boba Fett in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We also get some more background regarding Kay. So according to Navid, she is one of the most wanted in the galaxy because she took part in a heist that goes wrong, and that's why she's got to go into the underworld and hide and things like that, so that's pretty interesting. I've also seen some people say that maybe she's just working for the rebellion, but Navid confirms that she hasn't really formed an opinion about the battle between the Empire and Rebellion yet. She just views the Empire as oppressive, but to be honest, they are just there standing in her way, stopping her from making as much money as possible. So yeah, it's not really about this galactic civil war, which side she's on. She's not on any side. There was also another comment made regarding cameos. So even though we'll meet Jabba, as for other characters you might meet, we want to leave some things for players to discover on their journey, but we hope they have as much fun discovering them as we had placing them in the game. So fingers crossed these cameos do make sense, they're not just forced, and it's not like we're going to see Darth Vader face to face with Kay. That just doesn't make sense, right? That should not be in the game. But there are other characters that people would like to see that actually do make sense in regards to Kay, her character, and this time period. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, so do let me know down in the comment section below what you enjoyed the most. And please do go check out the interviews in full. There'll be links down below in the description. They're pretty in-depth and long, so definitely do check them out. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any future Star Wars Outlaws news updates. And if you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.